Hi everyone, Aaron here for Zollotech, and this week we have more to talk about with iPhone 16 details that have leaked, AirPods Pro 3 may be coming sooner than we expected, and iOS 18 RC is just around the corner. This is your weekly Apple News update for the week of August 25th through the 30th, 2024. Now, while iOS 18.1 betas have brought us a glimpse of some of what Apple Intelligence has to offer, Apple will eventually have an upgraded Siri that can utilize ChatGPT for additional information, which it can't show on its own. The nice new animation works really great when you go on your screen, and you'll see it is a little bit buggy right now. There we go. This nice new animation with sort of Siri 2.0 that's coming a little bit later will then allow you to sort of jump over to ChatGPT if it can't find the answer. This week, Apple is now looking to invest into OpenAI, who owns ChatGPT, along with NVIDIA, according to the Wall Street Journal. So maybe they're pushing more into ChatGPT where they can use some of that information, but again, they're trying to do it in a way that's more private on your device. Let me know what you think of that. This week, Apple published a new document showing that you can now transfer Apple Music playlists to another service such as YouTube Music. It walks you through step by step, and I'll link this in the description, and you can actually transfer back and forth. So it says how to transfer your Apple Music playlist to YouTube Music. You go to the data and privacy page, sign in, transfer or copy your data, and then follow the instructions there. So that's something that's brand new. And again, I'll link this in the description if you want to check it out. Apple this week has let go of about 100 people in its news and book service departments, according to Bloomberg. Books is becoming less of a priority as more popular services such as Amazon are probably used a lot more, but Books is not losing any features. In fact, it gains a feature with iOS 18 with reading goals being moved to the top, having more of a priority. And also news continues to get more and more updates. So I think they'll continue to push this, but maybe they just didn't need as many people, unfortunately. Let me know if you were affected by this or if this is something you use regularly, whether that's books or news, or you'd like to use them, or you just never have even looked at them. Now, Vision Pro is gaining another immersive video this week, and it seems like Apple's rolling these out very slowly. I thought when they'd launch this $3,500 device, they'd have a ton of content ready to go, and the immersive videos are great, but they're only about 6 minutes or so, and there's a new one called Elevated launching on September 6th, along with an Inside Super Bowl short film too. These are things that I thought we'd see much more as far as the overall content. I really enjoy them, but again, they're only about 6 minutes long, and to see maybe full shows in immersive video and more probably was their goal, but it seems like it's rolling out extremely slowly. So hopefully we'll see more of that, but many people aren't even talking about this anymore. Let me know if you have a Vision Pro, if you use one regularly, or if it's just something that you would never purchase even if it was cheaper. Now, if you're someone that uses Snapchat regularly, you'll be happy to know that they've finally added it to iPad if you weren't already aware. It's now native to iPad, it will work in full screen, and you no longer have to use the iPhone version of it. It's been updated recently with bug fixes, but there's more updates where it was natively released on iPad 4 days ago. So let me know if you're using that, and that's something that I think is great. I would love to see Instagram make its way there as well. As far as weekly deals this week, well, there's quite a few deals on different things as we're getting closer to the new season of devices. The MacBook Pro is on sale, quite a few different discounts there, along with MacBook Air, and AirPods Pro 2, AirPods 3, and other devices are on sale now. Now, I'll link them in the description, but at this point, I probably wouldn't buy any devices until the next Apple event. We're waiting for that event to happen in just about a week or two at this point, and basically, we're going to see a lot of different products launch in that time frame. So at this point, there's deals on them, but I do expect some updates we'll talk about in just a moment. And also at this point, I definitely would not buy an iPhone 15 series device. In fact, I wouldn't buy any right now. I'd wait until the next iPhone launches because you'll get many discounts on the ones that are currently available. So at this point, I would just hold off a couple more weeks. Now, as far as releases this week, well, we have a new Safari technology preview that Apple released. You'll see here, they release these every couple weeks, so if you want to test this out, and this one brings performance enhancements. It's version 202, brings in performance enhancements and bugs, and then you can use it on macOS Sequoia and Sonoma as well. There's quite a few release notes to go along with this, so be sure to check it out if you're testing this out or you just want to use the latest version. Now, we're also waiting for some new updates this week. Maybe iOS 17.6.2 could launch sometime next week. We know it's still in the works. So far, it doesn't look like they've abandoned it, but maybe they will, and they'll just push it to iOS 17.7, where they typically have that around the launch of the next operating system. Based on what we know so far, it looks like iOS 18.1 Beta 4 possibly could be next week. After about Beta 3 or Beta 4, Apple typically goes to a weekly schedule. However, iOS 18 RC I wouldn't expect probably until the following week. Based off what we've seen in the past, it usually launches around the time of the Apple events, after the event. So on the 9th is when I would expect that. We could have a 2-week gap in between. Then a final launch of iOS 18, possibly on the 16th, and the iPhone 16 launch on the 20th. That's typically what Apple does, so it seems like that's what they'll probably do this year. And a new rumor from Masserkopf in Germany has actually said that they've heard Apple will start pre-ordering the iPhone 16 on Thursday this year instead of Friday. That could be because it's actually having the event on Monday, but at this point, I wouldn't really count on that. Typically, Apple will have the pre-orders on Friday with them launching the following Friday. If they change this, that would be a huge change from things they've done in the past. It's still possible, but at this point, I think it's highly unlikely. Now, as far as other details with the iPhone 16, well, iPhone 16 models are all said to feature 8 gigs of RAM this year. We currently have 8 gigabytes of RAM. You can see that in Geekbench here, where we have 7.48, it says. And the iPhone 16, 16 Plus, 16 Pro, and 16 Pro Max are all expected to have that upgraded RAM, or at least 8 gigabytes. That will help with Apple Intelligence features, and we won't see more RAM until next year, probably with different devices. But before we talk about that, we do expect a few different things as far as this device. We expect longer battery life, thermals that are better but not as good as what we expect again in the iPhone 17 launch, and also upgraded cameras with a 48 megapixel ultra wide. So as far as that goes, we're expecting basically the same dynamic island, upgraded displays that could be much brighter, as well as some new colors. You may have seen some of those where there's sort of a brownish color. And with that bronze color or brown color, this is going to supposedly be the new color, but Apple surprised us before. We know basically all the colors of the regular iPhone 16 models with their new camera layout. The 16 Pro and 16 Pro Max will look less updated as it's going to keep the same sort of camera layout. But each time, every year, they'll upgrade a little bit. It might be more of an S year where they just upgrade the internal processor, but we should get some better thermals this year and hopefully much better battery life, but we'll have to wait and see. Now, we've heard a few different things about the iPhone 17, where we could have maybe a super thin version, an iPhone Air possibly. Some people have called it that. And also we've heard that maybe it will have more RAM this week. iPhone 17 is said to be gaining a significant RAM increase to 12 gigabytes according to a Weibo leak, and then later backed up by Ming Chi Kuo. However, Kuo added additional information stating that the 12 gigabytes of RAM would be limited to the 17 Pro Max only. I'm not sure why Apple would not put it in the Pro model as well, but maybe this could hint at something such as an iPhone 17 Ultra or just iPhone Ultra. Some people have suggested that the 17 name would be a bad name to use and that Apple could change the name entirely to iPhone and iPhone Pro like they do with the iPads or something else. So based off of that information, we could have a super thin iPhone 17, upgraded RAM, upgraded processors, upgraded thermals, which is also what's expected next year. Apparently, those thermals are not coming until iPhone 17 with upgrades to maybe using a vapor chamber, where the iPhone 16 will apparently only use graphite. So at this point, it looks like we're going to have to wait a little bit until we get that. Now, many have asked me when we can expect the iPhone SE 4th generation, and all of the current rumors hinted early 2025. Based on what we know already, it's rumored to be looking sort of like the iPhone 14, but maybe it will have 2 cameras like the iPhone 16 lined up vertically so that you can take spatial photo and video. That's something we could see with the iPhone SE 4th generation. However, many rumored before that it's in the same chassis as the iPhone 14, and that's possible if they need to maybe use up frames that they already have made. So it's going to be a little while for that, but the iPad mini could be right around the corner. iPad mini is apparently running out of supply with its current 6th generation, hinting at a possible new 7th generation iPad mini soon. This is according to Mark Gurman, who said they're sort of getting low as far as the supply goes, and we could see something new much sooner than we originally thought. So Unless they get rid of it entirely, we could see an upgraded iPad mini very, very soon. And something else we could see very soon that we didn't expect are new AirPods Pro 3. Many people have said not really to expect them until probably early next year. However, recent rumors say that they're actually going to get an upgrade, and Kosutami on X has said that the AirPods Pro 2 replacement are going to have much better noise cancellation. When asked if they were coming soon, Kosutami just replied, soon. So basically, we could see these next week or in a week or two once they launch to the public with upgraded internals, upgraded noise cancellation, and that's about it. We're also expecting updates to AirPods 3, where we'll get AirPods 4 and maybe AirPods 4 Lite or just AirPods Lite to replace AirPods 2. All of these are expected to launch very soon, where we could have a similar design, but again, upgraded internals. Unfortunately, we aren't expecting AirPods Max anytime soon. All of the rumors have sort of said that we don't know when they'll actually launch, and it looks like these are still going to have Lightning for a while. Maybe they're using up the additional frames that they have or something else, but at this point, we aren't seeing any of these updated anytime soon. So hopefully they will, as they need to have some internal updates, USB-C and more. Now, many have also been asking, when is the next Apple TV launching? And apparently earlier this year, Mark Gurman had said it looks like Apple's working on an update and we'll see it in the first half of 2024. However, since that time frame has passed, Apple may be aiming for later this year or next. Apple is said to redesign the Mac Mini this year, and if that's true, maybe they're going to use an even smaller Apple TV design or just redesign it entirely sort of to fit the new aesthetic. So at this point, we don't know 100%, but that's what we're waiting for. Many have complained for some time that Macs should start at a minimum of 16 gigs of RAM and not 8 gigabytes. I personally agree and wouldn't purchase one that's 8 gigabytes myself, but they seem to work just fine if you just need something that's more basic and don't do heavy tasks such as video editing or photo editing or things like that. In a recent post from Mark Gurman from Bloomberg, he's actually said that Apple is working on new Macs that all start at 16 gigs of RAM, probably due to the new AI updates with Apple Intelligence. This is great news if you're looking for a Mac in the near future. Maybe it will reduce some of that cost, or maybe it'll just bump the price of them to include that additional RAM. So in just about a week or so, we'll know about what iPhone 16 has to offer, along with maybe updated internals, hopefully higher speed USB-C on the base models, and maybe some other surprises. I'm really hoping we get something that's a little bit unexpected, and AirPods Pro 3 would be one of those things, but what they have to offer outside of that is hard to say. Other than that, though, there's not much more to talk about this week other than waiting for the next versions of iOS 18 and more. Let me know what you're looking most forward to in the comments below. I'll link this wallpaper in the description like I normally do, and if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe, and if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. As always, thanks for watching. This is Aaron. I'll see you next time.